In the 1950s, a discovery would change Nigeria forever. This was a time when the country was still under British colonial rule and the landscape was vastly different from what it is today. The discovery in question was not just any ordinary find, it was something that would alter the course of Nigeria's history. Black gold, in the form of crude oil, was found beneath the Niger Delta. This region, rich in biodiversity and home to many communities, suddenly became the focal point of global attention. The discovery of oil meant that Nigeria had untapped wealth lying beneath its soil, waiting to be harnessed. This discovery sparked hope and excitement among the Nigerian people. Communities that had long relied on agriculture and fishing saw a new future on the horizon. The promise of jobs, infrastructure, and economic growth brought a sense of optimism that was palpable across the nation. Nigeria had the potential to become a major oil producer. The infrastructure needed to extract and refine this valuable resource began to take shape. Refineries and production facilities were constructed, laying the groundwork for what would become a booming industry. The world watched as Nigeria embarked on a journey to tap into this valuable resource. International media covered the story extensively, highlighting the potential impact on global oil markets. Investors and companies from around the world took a keen interest in Nigeria's burgeoning oil industry. The discovery was a pivotal moment in Nigeria's history. Leaders and policymakers had to navigate the complexities of managing this newfound wealth. Decisions made during this period would have lasting implications for the country's future. It held the promise of economic prosperity and development. The revenue generated from oil exports had the potential to transform Nigeria's economy, funding infrastructure projects, education, and healthcare. The vision was to create a self-sustaining economy that could provide for its people. The initial discovery was made by Shell BP, a joint venture. This partnership between Royal Dutch Shell and British Petroleum played a crucial role in the early stages of Nigeria's oil industry. Their expertise and investment were instrumental in unlocking the country's oil potential. The company invested heavily in exploration and production. Advanced drilling techniques and technology were brought in to maximize oil extraction. Local workers were trained and new jobs were created, contributing to the local economy. Soon, oil began flowing from the wells. The sight of oil gushing from the ground was a symbol of Nigeria's new era. Pipelines were constructed to transport the crude oil to refineries and export terminals, marking the beginning of a new chapter in the nation's history. This marked the beginning of Nigeria's journey as an oil-producing nation. The first shipment of Nigerian oil was a momentous occasion, celebrated both locally and internationally. It signified Nigeria's entry into the global oil market. The discovery had a profound impact on the country's future. It set the stage for Nigeria's transformation into one of the world's leading oil producers. The oil industry became a cornerstone of the nation's economy, influencing its development and shaping its destiny for decades to come. The first commercial oil discovery was in Oloibiri, a small village in the Niger Delta. This momentous event marked the beginning of Nigeria's journey into the world of oil production. It was in 1956 when Shell BP struck oil in this remote village, forever changing its destiny and that of the entire nation. This discovery opened the floodgates to further exploration. Companies from around the globe flocked to Nigeria, eager to tap into the newfound wealth beneath its soil. The initial success in Oloibiri spurred a frenzy of activity, with exploration rigs dotting the landscape and drilling operations becoming a common sight. Soon, vast oil fields were discovered across the region. The Niger Delta, with its rich deposits, became the focal point of these explorations. The landscape transformed as more and more oil fields were identified, each promising a new wave of prosperity. These fields varied in size and production capacity. Some were small and quickly exhausted, while others were vast and continued to produce oil for decades. The diversity in the size and output of these fields required a range of equipment and technology, making the oil industry in Nigeria a complex and dynamic sector. Some of the most significant oil fields include Oloibiri, which remains a symbol of Nigeria's oil heritage, Bonny, known for its strategic oil terminal, Kwa Ibo, one of the largest oil fields, and Forcados, a key player in the oil export market. These fields became the backbone of Nigeria's oil industry. They not only contributed significantly to the national economy, but also positioned Nigeria as a major player in the global oil market. The infrastructure developed around these fields was extensive, supporting both extraction and export. They attracted international oil companies eager to tap into the vast reserves. Companies like Shell, Chevron, and ExxonMobil established operations, bringing in expertise, technology, and investment. This influx of foreign interest and capital further accelerated the growth of Nigeria's oil industry. The Niger Delta, once a peaceful region of fishing villages and mangrove forests, was transformed into a hub of oil activity. The traditional way of life was altered as the region became a bustling center of industrial activity. While the oil boom brought economic opportunities, it also introduced challenges, including environmental concerns and social changes. The discovery of oil in Nigeria attracted major international oil companies. Shell, Chevron, ExxonMobil, and Total established a strong presence in the country. These companies formed joint ventures with the Nigerian government. This collaboration allowed them to explore and produce oil on a large scale. These companies played a crucial role in developing Nigeria's oil industry. They brought their expertise, technology, and capital. The influx of foreign investment had a significant impact on the Nigerian economy. Crude oil quickly became the lifeblood of the Nigerian economy. It accounted for a significant portion of the country's GDP. Oil revenue fueled government spending on infrastructure, education, and healthcare. Nigeria became one of the largest oil producers in the world. The oil industry created jobs and stimulated economic growth. It also attracted foreign investment and boosted Nigeria's international standing. However, this reliance on oil came with its own set of challenges. Section 5, From Roads to Riches, Infrastructure and Economic Benefits. Oil revenue brought about significant improvements in Nigeria's infrastructure. New roads, bridges, and airports were built. Hospitals and schools were constructed in both urban and rural areas. The oil boom transformed the landscape of major cities. The influx of oil money also led to economic growth. New industries emerged and existing ones expanded. Nigeria experienced a period of relative prosperity. However, this prosperity was not evenly distributed. Section 6, the Niger Delta Crisis, Environmental Costs of Oil Extraction. The extraction of oil in the Niger Delta came at a heavy environmental cost. Oil spills, gas flaring, and deforestation devastated the ecosystem. Fishing communities saw their livelihoods destroyed. The once pristine environment was polluted. The people of the Niger Delta protested against the environmental degradation. They demanded compensation and a cleanup of the affected areas. The environmental crisis sparked conflict and unrest in the region. Section 7. Oil, Corruption and Inequality, the Dark Side of Black Gold. Despite the economic benefits, oil wealth did not reach all Nigerians. Corruption and mismanagement plagued the oil industry. A small elite benefited disproportionately from oil revenues. The gap between the rich and the poor widened. The unequal distribution of oil wealth fueled social unrest and instability. It also hindered the country's overall development. The challenges of corruption and inequality continue to plague Nigeria today. Section 8. A Future Beyond Oil, Diversification and Renewable Energy. Recognizing the need to move away from its dependence on oil, Nigeria has begun to explore alternative sources of revenue. The government has implemented policies to promote economic diversification. Agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism are seen as key sectors for growth. Nigeria has also shown a growing interest in renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. These initiatives aim to reduce the country's reliance on fossil fuels and promote sustainable development. Section 9. Community Engagement and Sustainable Practices, a Path Forward. Addressing the environmental and social challenges posed by the oil industry requires a multifaceted approach. Engaging local communities in the Niger Delta is crucial. They must have a say in decisions that affect their lives and livelihoods. Promoting sustainable practices in the oil industry is also essential. This includes minimizing environmental impact, investing in clean technologies, and adhering to strict safety regulations. Section 10, Nigeria's oil legacy, balancing prosperity and responsibility. Nigeria's journey with crude oil has been a complex one. Since the discovery of oil in the 1950s, the country has experienced a dramatic transformation. The oil industry has become the backbone of Nigeria's economy, providing jobs and generating significant revenue. It has brought both immense wealth and significant challenges. While oil has fueled economic growth and development, it has also led to environmental degradation and social unrest. Oil spills and pollution have had devastating effects on local communities and ecosystems. The country has learned valuable lessons about the importance of responsible resource management. Government policies and community initiatives are now focusing on sustainable practices to mitigate the negative impacts of oil extraction. Efforts are being made to ensure that the benefits of oil wealth are more equitably distributed among the population. As Nigeria looks to the future, it must find a balance between harnessing its oil resources for economic growth and ensuring the well-being of its people and the environment. Investing in education, healthcare, and renewable energy sources is crucial for long-term prosperity. Diversifying the economy beyond oil will also help create a more resilient and sustainable future. The decisions made today will shape the country's legacy for generations to come. By prioritizing both prosperity and responsibility, Nigeria can pave the way for a brighter, more sustainable future for all its citizens.